Hello, and welcome to episode 117 on the Everyday Joy podcast. I'm your host, Joy Ravella, and I just want to say I have received so much love and encouragement just on a personal level from everyone over on the Facebook page. I was quite hesitant about doing this whole week's worth of episodes just by myself, and I ended up sharing quite vulnerably over the last 3 episodes, but I've just been so blessed by everyone on the Facebook community. So thank you so much. And I love this supportive space. I see how you're encouraging and cheering each other on. And it's just such a beautiful picture. And I'm so thankful to be a part of it. And if you want to be part of the Everyday Joy Facebook group, it's such a cool place to hang out. The link to join is below. Just a reminder though, you do have to answer both the questions to be accepted into the group. So if your invitation got declined, it's probably because you didn't answer those questions. Takes 2 seconds, literally. Today, we are doing a deep dive. We're doing it all throughout this week. On Monday, we talked about age-old insecurities. On Tuesday, we talked about weight loss and faith. Yesterday, we talked about the power of the dinner table. And today, we're talking about taking the initiative. This is based off Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. It says, "Here is a simple rule of thumb guide for behavior. Ask yourself what you want people to do for you, then grab the initiative and do it for them." Today's deep dive is based off episode 55, and in this episode, Jen shared an experience that she had that wasn't great. She was in a car crash, and her ex at the time reached out in kindness, wanting to check up on her, and she talked about the power of that moment, the power of him choosing to take the initiative and do the kind thing. So I'm going to replay a little snippet of that episode, and then we'll get back into a deep dive.
All that added up to this big emotion of just anxiety or panic attacks, and Kev heard about this, so I told a couple of friends and he heard about this. Kev took that initiative. Now that's that buzzword. He took the initiative, he took the time, and he was messaging me every single day, making sure that 1, I was okay, and 2, to distract me from the car accident, from that incident. And so every single day, every morning, every night, he'll message me, he'll call me, just see how I was going. When I came back from the trip, every single day he came over, every single day he was like, let's do something. And he literally was there for me. And I asked him later on, like, what were your intentions? He goes, I just wanted to make sure you were okay. And he goes, I risked myself getting hurt. I had a thought that you might say, no, I don't want you anymore, I don't want you to be in my life at all, but I wanted to make sure that you were okay.
So essentially, if Kev hadn't done what this verse said, which is basically doing to others what you would want them to do for you, you might not be sitting here today married to him for 8 years with an almost 2-year-old, because all those years ago he chose to do the kind thing. Now, before we dive into my thoughts around this conversation, I just want to say to you, there's an incredible way that you can also take the initiative and step outside of your comfort zone and provide sight-saving surgery through CBM Australia. They love this podcast. They want to support it. And so we're just going to encourage you as a team to head on over to their website. It's also in the description below, miraclesday.com.au. And by donating $33, you can provide sight-saving surgery for someone in a developing nation who suffers with cataracts. So from the elderly through to the mums and dads, through to the children, you can have such an incredible impact, and that link is there below. So in today's conversation, I want to talk about what I feel is the enemy of initiative. And in my experience, the enemy of taking the initiative is the fear of rejection. We don't want to step out and try that new thing or have that conversation or sign up for that new opportunity because we are afraid of being rejected. We're afraid of somehow not living up to a certain expectation. And so we sort of just slink back into the shadows and, stay nice and cozy in that space. And I wanted to share with you a similar story to Jen's, my own story. I don't think I've shared this on the podcast before, but My goodness, I would not be married to Ari right now if he had not taken the initiative. So we met online, first of all, both Ari's mum and my mum. Strangely enough, well, I shouldn't say strangely, I think it was definitely a God thing, definitely encouraged us to head online and just see if there was anyone there. It was lockdown and it had been stretching on for years now, and we both were feeling the pinch of loneliness. So we bumped in online, and there was a lot that I really liked about his profile, and there was a lot he liked about mine, so we decided to go out on a date. So we decided to catch up at this beautiful place here in Melbourne, the top of Mount Dandenong, a really nice picturesque place, and it was an amazing first date. And then we got to the end of the evening, the sun was setting, and I was saying to myself, okay, I need to get home. Time for that awkward dance. That thing you do where you don't quite know whether or not you should suggest meeting up again. You don't want to come across as too desperate. And there was just a lot going on in my mind. I was very concerned with my self-image. I, again, didn't want to be rejected. So as all of this was going on in my mind, Ari said to me, I had a really nice time hanging out today. Did you like hanging out with me? Just off the bat. He just asked me the question. And I said, yeah, I really enjoyed hanging out with you. And then he said, would you be interested in hanging out again? And I said, yeah, I'd be interested in that. And he said, well, I'm free next weekend. Would you like to hang out next weekend? And I said, yeah. And it was just so easy. And I still sort of tease him about it today because in that moment, I was just thinking, this guy is fearless. He has absolutely no fear of rejection. I could have said no at any point, but he just had his heart out on his sleeve, and he made it really easy for me to just say yes. Now, in reflection, I learnt that Ari actually uncomplicated things a fair bit. I had this whole process, this whole complicated dance between, what do I tell you? What do I not tell you? What do I feel? What do I really feel? And in Ari's mind, it was very simple. I like spending time with you. I would like to spend more time with you. Do you want the same? And so today I really want to focus on this idea that perhaps it's not as complicated as we think. We even hear with Jen's story where she was talking about Kev. Later on in the episode, she talks about asking him the question later, weren't you afraid of being rejected? And for him, he just said, honestly, I just wanted to be there for you. I just wanted to be your friend. And that's exactly what this verse says. Matthew 7:12. Jesus said, here is a simple rule of thumb guide for behavior. Ask yourself what you want people to do for you, then grab the initiative and do it for them. Ari is a very straightforward black and white kind of guy. And for him, he just thought to himself, well, I wouldn't want someone to keep me in the dark after a date, so I'm not going to do that to her. I'm just going to put it out there. I like you. I like spending time with you. I want to hang out again. Same thing with Kev. He just knew that the right thing to do would be to look after someone after they've had a car crash, because in his mind, he knew that he would appreciate that from someone else. And so maybe today's just an opportunity for you to simplify things, to just go back to the rule of thumb guide for behavior, to park all those thoughts of rejection and what if I should and what if I shouldn't, and what will they think of me, and all those sorts of things that can be like weeds, can just get in the way of you stepping out and living a life of grace and goodness and kindness. Maybe for you, today is the day you just grab the initiative and you do something for someone because you just know it's what you would like someone to do for you. So let's make it practical today. Is there someone who's moving house at the moment, or they've just had a child, or they've just come back from a long holiday? Maybe they are going through a difficult time with their health. If you were in those situations, wouldn't you be grateful if someone dropped off a meal? Wouldn't you be grateful if someone dropped off a card or flowers or sent through a text message to check if you're okay? And if the answer is yes, well, go ahead and do that for them. Do it today. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Maybe for you, it's got to do with your workplace. You wish that people would reply to emails quickly. Maybe you wish that meetings would end on time. Hey, Maybe you can't change everyone else's behavior, but you can grab the initiative, and when it's in your power, do it for them. Sometimes we do overcomplicate things, and we can be very good at that as humans, which is why I think Jesus said, here is a simple rule of thumb guide for behavior. He's literally said, hey, let's not overcomplicate things. You can filter all your actions through this simple statement. So I hope that today's conversation just encourages you to take the initiative, to uncomplicate life, and to follow this simple rule of thumb guide for behavior. That is Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. Hey, that wraps up today's conversation on the Everyday Joy podcast. I love getting emails from you, and I've had the most delightful emails. And if you would like to send through some feedback, some questions, had the lovely Louise message through asking me how we select the verses. And, I replied, and it was just really great having that back and forth conversation. So if you have any questions, any ideas for topics, maybe for you there was a particular episode that really resonated, you can head to the inbox address, which is below. Hey, I look forward to catching up again tomorrow. We're taking a look at restoration. It's a powerful episode that Joe did earlier, and I cannot wait to dig into it. Catch up again tomorrow.